Every 10 minutes, a new Bitcoin block is added to the blockchain, also known as the time chain.
But how does it actually get created?
Today, we're going behind the scenes of Bitcoin mining to see exactly how miners build a candidate block.
From grabbing transactions out of the mempool to the frantic search for the magic nonce. Let's dive in. Step 1 starts in the mempool, the waiting room for unconfirmed Bitcoin transactions. Every full node on the network keeps a mempool filled with valid transactions. These haven't been included in a block yet. Miners don't just pick randomly. They carefully select transactions to maximize their profit. They sort transactions by fee rate, Satoshis per virtual byte. Higher fees get priority. They also respect the block weight limit.
Roughly 4 million weight units, or about 4 megabyte with SegWit.
They must handle transaction dependencies too. A child must come after its parent. Modern mining software uses sophisticated algorithms to build the most profitable package possible.
Every block starts with a special transaction called the Coinbase.
This is the only transaction that can create new Bitcoins. It has no real inputs. Instead, it uses a dummy input. In the Coinbase field, miners put the current block height and an extra nonce. They can even increment this field and sometimes add a fun message. The output pays the miner the block subsidy plus all the transaction fees collected.
Since the 2024 halving, the subsidy is 3.125 BTC per block.
Fees add a little more, sometimes just a few hundredths of a BTC. So the total reward for a block might be around 3.13 to 3.4 BTC. You see this often during busy periods when fees spike. Now, once everything is selected, the miner builds the Merkle root.
Every transaction gets a unique transaction ID, TXID, using double SHA-256. These TXIDs form the branches of a Merkle tree.
The miner repeatedly hashes pairs of hashes until only one hash remains. This continues upward until we reach the very top. This single 32-byte value is a compact fingerprint of every transaction. Change even one transaction, and the entire Merkle root changes. This is crucial because the Merkle root goes into the block header. The header is what miners actually hash millions of times per second. Here's the Merkle root from the very first Genesis block. Now we get to the famous part, the 80-byte block header. It contains 6 fields, including the version and the previous block hash. The previous block hash is what links the chain together. Then we have the Merkle root we just talked about and a timestamp. Next are the bits, which encode the current difficulty target. And finally, the 4-byte nonce. This is where the magic happens. The miner's job is to find a nonce that results in a valid hash.
When you double SHA-256 the header, the hash must be less than the target, a range of potentially valid numbers.
In other words, the hash must start with many leading zeros. Today's difficulty is around 139 trillion. The target is extremely small. Miners try billions of nonces per second on specialized ASIC hardware. If the 32-bit nonce overflows, they increment the extra nonce in the Coinbase. They can also tweak the timestamp slightly to keep searching.
For the first Genesis block, Satoshi used nonce 2,083,236,893.
This produced the famous hash that started it all in 2009. Once a miner finds a valid nonce, they broadcast the full block. Other nodes across the network quickly verify everything. They check if the Merkle root matches and the hash meets the target. If everything checks out, the block is added to the blockchain, and every miner immediately starts building the next candidate block. Economically, the winning miner earns the subsidy plus fees. But mining is extremely competitive and energy intensive. Most miners join pools to get steady smaller payouts instead. This secures the Bitcoin network through enormous computational work. It makes it extremely expensive for anyone to rewrite history. As the subsidy halves over time, transaction fees will become primary. This is why block space efficiency and fee markets matter so much. Bitcoin mining is the mechanism that keeps money secure and trustworthy. If you enjoyed this deep dive, hit like and subscribe. Let me know in the comments, what would you like to see next? Mining hardware, difficulty adjustments, or how pools work?
Stay curious and keep learning about Bitcoin. TikTok, next block.